Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of our XCOM 2 War of the Chosen playthrough. I am so excited to get started with a legitimate playthrough of this game and go start to finish. I have over 500 hours of it in Steam. Some of those were probably idling, but a lot of them actually also offline, so could be as high as 800 really. And I have never finished the game. I've never killed one of the Chosen. I've never done a lot of things in this game, and today I'm really excited to do it. I kind of want this to be a bit of a completionist run, so we are doing most of the story elements. We're planning to get max rank with every class so we can showcase all their abilities, defeat all the Chosen, defeat all the alien rulers, and we are going to be playing with a couple modifications, so you can look forward to this as kind of an edutainment playthrough. We're going to be showcasing a lot of the things this game has to offer, and despite this being 2023, this is absolutely a game you should still have in your library and on your rotation. We're playing with a couple of mods. They don't really do a lot to affect the gameplay. A few of them give me some bits of information that the base game really should have anyway. There aren't really anything as far as cheats go, just telling you what the actual aim bonuses or penalties are without the back end kind of messing with it. And some cosmetic mods, things like that. Nothing that's going to make the game seriously easier or more difficult. We do have some characters in our pool. I'm in there, and I got some relatives, some friends, so if you want to join the character pool and you have an opportunity, you might be able to get added late game by letting me know in the comments or elsewhere. But let's get started taking a look over it. We are going to be playing on Legendary. And now, unfortunately, it disables the tutorial for Legendary. So, one thing that I was considering doing was starting on Commander, doing the tutorial, and then starting over on Legendary and just pretending that that never took place. But unfortunately, without being on Legendary, the tutorial is actually important for the story. It sets the game up and kind of explains what's going on. So, if you have no idea what the story of XCOM is, you can either look up the tutorial, in which case, just skip a couple minutes forward in this video, or you can listen to me kind of give a rough overview of it. In this game, you, the player, are playing as the Commander, and Commander is a military genius who was instrumental when the aliens invaded about 20 years ago in the original XCOM game. And XCOM rallied humanity and went to fight the aliens and lost. The aliens have taken over and they have been ruling Earth for about 20 years. In principle, creating this kind of utopia, and in reality, for many people, making the world much darker despite the advancement of all sorts of aspects of science and medicine. They have been, well, we're going to see as we get into the game. But in the beginning, for the first mission in that tutorial mission, you are rescuing the Commander from alien control. And we don't know why they kept the Commander alive or what they've been doing with him, but we are going to find out a lot about that as the game progresses. Tutorial, it won't let me enable that because of Legendary, but let's go into the advanced options and we can take a look at what I'm planning to start with. So, as tempting as Beta Strike is, and I really do think if you love this game and you've played it a lot, try a playthrough on Beta Strike. It really changes up the way that you play the game. It makes certain items and certain options much more appealing because the Alpha Strike, which is essentially where you try to wipe out the enemy in a turn without them getting any chance to really fight back, which is kind of the meta for how you win engagements in this game. It just, you can't do it realistically, and so you have to plan for longer engagements. And that does require a different playstyle and a different setup. Beta Strike is a lot of fun. Here you can select the ally you're starting with. We're not going to have any of those because we're doing it kind of story mode. We are picking Grim Horizon. Now, as it says at the bottom, dark events never expire, which greatly increases both the tactical and strategic difficulty of the game. We're going to get into what dark events are in the game, but essentially that is the enemy's method of continuously upgrading themselves. And normally those only last for a few weeks in game. They get extra grenades or get to drop extra reinforcements on you or all sorts of other abilities. In this, we're going to be playing, those are permanent. If I fail to prevent dark events, they will last for the entire playthrough. And to balance that a little bit, and also to make the tactical layer a little bit more interesting, especially when you have concealment, and there's a lot of missions where the turn timers, I think, just don't function in a way that is interesting or fun. I am going to be doubling them. And that hopefully compensates a little bit for the effect of the Dark Vermins. Now, doubling the length of the turn timers, frankly, for the most part, removes them as an obstacle entirely. I don't know if I've ever played with that enabled and really felt a significant amount of time pressure from the missions anymore. So, fortunately, that does give us kind of the ability to survive playing on Legendary, despite the fact we have all these dark events that are going to be firing off and messing us up. In the next set of settings, you have Iron Man or not. We are playing with mods, and even though they're well tested, I have not finished the game. I don't know what might crash them. There are the very rare but still occasional bugs or glitches that get people killed, and I'm not interested in fucking with that. We aren't going to be playing with Iron Man so that I can load. And now this, I do not want to enable the integrated content because I want us to be able to go through and do the story missions and keep up with all of that. So, hopefully my audio is mixed well. I'm going to let the cutscenes run. Give them a listen if you like. Skip past them if you don't. We're going to be getting into this first mission right now.
Accessing the feed now. We're in. But I don't... Seeing this? Way too much security, even for Advent.
That's no ordinary gene therapy clinic. They were telling the truth.
Or they're leading us into a trap. A really obvious trap. We'd need an army to march in there right now.
I've got a better idea. Outrider, this is Central. Go.
Mistakes are bound to happen.
It wasn't our fault. Please!
There's no need for any of this. I will do what you ask of me. I just need additional time.
Did you say something?
You're one of those. You must understand. I had no choice.
Outrider, report.
So, you do exist. Outrider to Avenger, I have visual confirmation.
Are you sure?
Reapers are always sure.
I'll take your word for it. Cover your tracks and get the hell out of there. They can't know we were here. Yet.
Understood. Now the real war begins.
Excitement continues to build as city centers across the globe prepare for the 20th anniversary of Unification Day.
Thousands line up at the site of the Great Accord, celebrating the formation of the Advent Coalition.
Keeping with their promise to humanity, 12 new gene therapy clinics will be opening in select cities by the end of the new year.
Despite the attempted attack by fringe elements, operations at the new facility in Paris thankfully remain unaffected.
In response to the unprovoked intrusion on the eve of our most beloved celebration, the speaker reaches out to us.
A
small number of dissidents again repeat the mistakes of the old world.
Striking as we celebrate a benevolent savior who time and again offers only friendship and compassion.
Yet these trivial actions could never break the bond between humanity and the Elders.
Peacekeeping forces have already made several preemptive arrests of known collaborators. Advent again assures all citizens that today's celebrations will continue as planned.
Perfect.
The Advent administration reminds you to report all suspicious activity to your nearest peacekeeper. Only together can we build a better tomorrow.
Approaching position. You were right. They've definitely got their hands full today.
Stay focused. Prep Gatecrasher.
60 seconds. Now.
Signal received. Loud and clear. Okay, Gatecrasher. Your turn.
And now it's us. We're Gatecrasher. Let's see what Bradford has to say about the start of the mission.
Establish their peaceful enclaves within the city centers. It's time we move in and show them the fight isn't over yet. We're deploying to hit a high-profile target, one that they won't be able to cover up so easily. Move to secure the target site and eliminate any hostile contacts in the area.
So this mission as a first mission is really funny to me because I think that they kind of lose track of the fact that, you know, this game's tone overall, where these like special forces soldiers coming in and you know, like an official military or something. This is a terrorist attack. We're going in to blow up a monument to show that there's still fight left in us, to, you know, remind the common people to like rise up against them. We are guerrilla insurgents, and you know, the first mission, this game just doesn't seem self-aware about it at all. We're just bombing a statue. Now on top of that, one of the things that we missed from the tutorial is that there is a, you know, more direct tactical reason, a strategic reason why we're bombing this monument. It's a distraction attack. So the tutorial mission and the mission we're about to do are happening concurrently, and in the tutorial you are rescuing the commander, which is, you know, us, I guess. So kind of weird that canonically we're also here doing this to give the orders, but fourth wall break in that.
5. We have a fix on the target. Move to place the X4 charges at the designated position.
So this is it. This is how XCOM starts and looks. We've got our 4 soldiers here. In the bottom left, you see their name. This is John. You got Shadow, Eden, Lord Froggy. So they got these code names. So Bo, Redacted, and Dagger, and Froggy are our soldiers today. We are in a city center. Up here's our objective, this statue. Once we get closer, we got a better look at it, but that's kind of an interesting one. And here you see this blue radius around us. That's our first action movement range. If you go beyond it, you got this yellow action. So on your turn, you have 2 actions. Normally that's move and shoot, or move and use some ability. And as we play through, we're going to see a whole bunch more abilities that you're capable of using. So here's the world's edge behind us. And I'm thinking we're very likely to spot enemies somewhere in this range. I'm not quite sure whether... Well, it doesn't actually look like we have a good way up on the roof of this building without... Ah, there's a ladder all the way over there, huh? Okay, well, here's what we're going to do instead then. I'm going to pick whoever is closest and kick them all the way up there. Now, typically, I don't like to yellow move. That means to send them both movement
Got some hostiles
points
over
forward at the same time. But in this, you know, I've got some familiarity with this mission. You're never going to hit people like that soon. But I have a feeling if I ran to this edge, they would spot me. So this is going to give us some great height advantage over the guys down there, and that's something that I'm pretty excited about. We don't want to be exposed, so if you notice here, we have a couple different types. Let me zoom in a bit. You have half cover here, or low cover, and this has actually no cover. So you get a little defense bonus if you're behind certain cover. Like this is a full cover, so that'll give you 40. The half will give you 20, and then of course none gives you none. And if you're somewhere like here, it depends on which angle the enemy is shooting at you from, which cover is going to apply. So I think that's enough of the tutorializing for now. We're gonna kick everybody up there because I can pretty much guarantee we're gonna be able to take some shots at these guys next turn. If I can, I'll get higher up, but the enemy tends to be grouped in discrete units, which the community refers to as pods. This is a pod of 3. I'm very nervous about running up to the edge here. As much as I kind of hate to do it, I think I'm going to go...
I'm on the move.
That's not cover, but I want a blue move, so if I get spotted on the way, I can at least kick him into a different cover. And I think if I move to this edge, I should... Yeah, I have eyes on them, and see, if I had run here, they would have spotted me. So this whole section, except where I was, and I just kind of knew roughly how much movement they have. If I'd run to here, they would have spotted us, and we would have lost the element of surprise. So glad I didn't do that. I'm gonna push everyone just up a little bit. We're gonna... Now, this mission is far and away one of the most difficult missions in the game. 4 rookies against 9 soldiers, 3 of which are fairly elite, I would say. Yeah, we can push Eden all the way over there. Or Froggy, I mean. You know, the Advent officer... No, it's only two are kind of elite, and none in this group. So they're actually moving away from the building, which is perfect, as long as nobody else... Okay, this is actually a pretty good setup. We're going to move Redacted forward, and I see some red... Oh yeah, that's who they can see. We're going to move Dagger forward. Now, the tactic we are about to employ is generally called Overwatch trapping or Overwatch ambush. And what that essentially means is that one person is going to open with an attack and everyone else will be on Overwatch. Now, as it says on the far left, Overwatch on the first enemy that moves within your line of sight, but only if revealed. When anyone shoots at them, everyone on the team right now is going to be revealed, so then they're all going to try to run to cover, and when they try to run to cover, we're all going to get shots on them. When you Overwatch trap, if you're going from concealed to unconcealed, there's no aim disadvantage. What it doesn't tell you is that on future turns, if the enemy's already, we're already in a firefight, activating that Overwatch is going to give you an aim penalty when they move, so it's usually not very good to use once the fight has actually kicked off. But in this case, it's going to work just fine. It's kind of a bummer that we can't reach them. And 87's pretty good. Odds are one of them, just the way that this game runs, one of them is probably going to survive, which we don't love that, but we'll give Froggy the Overwatch. They're all the same. We're gonna kick this guy. Let's get our, so hold on, let's go over this UI a little bit. You have your fire weapon. We can choose our targets here. It's telling me right here it's going to break concealment. There's our hit chance, and you can see on the left what that consists of. So base aim 65, height advantage 20%. Really important to get the high ground. Weapon range, they're just inside the range where the assault rifle gets a small bonus. Interestingly, we're not flanking them. We're flanking that guy. Actually, that probably just applies to both. So the flanking has a 40% chance of crit if you hit. The math's actually a little bit wonkier than that, but I forget exactly how it goes. And if we crit, it'll add 2 damage. So you see 3 to 5. You'll notice in the UI, unfortunately, it shows... actually, I'm sorry, this is a mod. The base UI will show you the max damage, so it would actually have 5 pips of their health off. I think that's a trap. It's really annoying to look at from a UI perspective, because it's not as important to me what my max damage is as it is what my minimum damage is. So this is the best shot we have. Chance of crit, 3 to 5. Boom. 4. Took him down. And now they spotted us. They're gonna run for cover. Oh! And we took him out. All 3 hits. Not a bad start, especially for a legendary run. So now it's gonna be, oh, we seen on the right some, I forget what these are called, these pop-ups, but we got a couple promotions. First kill gets you a promotion as a rookie, so that's 3 promotions down, and on top of that, we'll see it again in the future, but we got an extra skill point for making an ambush kill from a height advantage. Now I'm going to be pretty gentle on this beginning part. We're going to reload everybody and just shuffle a little bit over. And actually, I'm not going to kick these guys all the way over because I don't want to risk activating the next spot. Now we're out of concealment for everybody, so everyone on the map, it's not that they know where we are per se. There we go. I actually probably should have had an Overwatch setup before I moved there, but this is where it starts getting a little bit dangerous to Overwatch trap. Now he ran into that cover, and I'm thinking that might be kind of to our advantage. The sectoid is the real threat here, but this guy is a much easier kill. So anything I can do to take this guy out first, that really should be my priority. Even though, you know, if I move, let's say Redacted goes over here, he's not going to have a great shot on him, and he will have a... Oh, he can't actually see the sectoid at all. So we'll go over the troops kind of as we play. You're definitely going to see these guys a number of times. Froggy is not going to get a good shot on any of those guys by moving out over here. So we're going to kick him forward. 67's bad. We can destroy the cover and have a better shot at him. And I think that's what we're going to do. We do want to make use of our grenades on this. 50-50 chance of getting that 4, but now his cover's destroyed, and look at that. It kicks our percent to hit him all the way up to 86. We're going to take that shot. And that's XCOM, baby. We took that shot, and it did not pan out. So, Dagger's got kind of the next worst position. We're going to move him forward because it doesn't matter for that shot. We're going to take a second 86. There it is.
How many is that now?
2, I think. You can check, actually. Let's go to the character, and if you hover over their name down here in the bottom, 2 it is, and 1 assist. And if you hit F1, you can get a much better view. That's going to show their health, all of their core stats, their weapon, some details about their abilities. Most of the important stuff you can find up there. And now, what is Shadow going to do? My concern is that I know on this mission there's a third pod somewhere in this gray, and if I run forward too far, we're going to activate those guys. So I'm tempted as I am to run down, get some full cover, and then start bounding up full cover to full cover. I think I'm going to leave these full covers down here for the guys who are already up front. Now I could also start running over to try to get some good flanking on him. But then if he just pulls back, everyone kind of loses. So we're going to stay together for now, and when it's 1 against 4, I think the odds are pretty in our favor. Now we can't reach him with a grenade, but we'll take the 46%. That's what we got. Yep.
Still moving.
Still moving indeed. This is going okay so far. I'm guessing he's going to use one of his psionic abilities to try to mind control somebody. This is what sectoids do. Now, it's kind of rare for them to land that. But it says 131%. That's 131 for him to be affected by the mind spin. The actual mind control typically doesn't land. That's a little bit bad luck. So it will now present him as a target. It's interesting. It actually tells us some abilities that soldier has. That's pretty funny. There's a few ways we can break the mind control, but the best of them is going to be just killing this guy. So his cover is going to be pretty difficult to break. What we're going to do... You know, there's just no reason for us to move, Frank. Oh, can I not reach? There we go. There's something kind of getting a little bit in the way, but I don't know if that cover is actually destructible, and that really... What is going on, UI? That really concerns me, because the grenade should destroy his cover. Like, you see the full red here, but I'm not too sure if it's going to work. We're going to go for it anyway, because the damage is... You know, okay. So it did break it, but I don't think it fully removed it. I think it just reduced it to half cover. Give me a minus. Yeah, so now it's low cover. We're going to take some subtle risks. One of them is going to be dropping down into a flank. Now the risk here is that we spot the other enemies on the map. It looks like that did not happen, so fortune is in our favor here. We're taking our flanking shot. Good hit. 76. Now we only have one soldier left, so here's where the decision is. Am I going to throw a grenade and guarantee the kill, or am I going to take a chance that I don't get the kill? Stand out in the open. We're going to guarantee the kill, because if I don't kill him, that mind control is really going to fuck me up. So even though I think he probably has loot that we're going to destroy here. Boom! Damn right, bro. There he goes. Sectoid killed, mind control lost. We get Eden back. And we're going to just reload and overwatch in case those other guys show up. Okay, there we go. Set up for the next turn. Do another reload, kick Shadow over.
Let's move already.
Bounce him forward, set him on Overwatch, and then Froggy's gonna do some leapfroggy. You're our bait. Let's get that Overwatch trap. I just want to see if he can hear them somewhere on the map. So he didn't hear them over here. We're gonna bring him back. And Overwatch everybody. They're over here somewhere. So this cover is not particularly good. We're gonna pivot. Neither is this one for that matter. Let's kick Dagger over here. We're going to overwatch our 3 up top. And then Froggy's going to move over to a full cover position here and overwatch as well. So that gives us a great idea of where they are. They're right behind this statue. Speaking of which, we can get kind of a better look at the statue now that everybody can see it. So this statue depicts the, if we can get a better look at it, the aliens lifting humanity up and kind of charging us forward. That's what they wanted to present to us, and we're saying fuck that. We're not going to give them the satisfaction. So we're going to keep our height advantage, even though I'm worried about... Let's see if they're willing to step forward. Oh, they are moving. They were here, now they're here. They're moving just ever so slightly around.
On Overwatch. On Overwatch.
Yeah, we're gonna keep our positions, and Froggy's gonna be our bait. I want to play it safe on this mission because I really can't afford to lose people in this first one, and it is so difficult to get through this without taking any casualties. So one reason why it's generally advised later not to overwatch, not to do exactly what I'm doing, is because then your soldiers are kind of locked down.
On Overwatch.
So if they did encounter me and something went weird, no one would be able to respond or react to events. What are some other fun details? I'm pushing him too far. Yeah, you're getting little... There they are. That's fine. That's fine. They actually would have been, I think, out of range of my team anyway. So, what we're going to do is pull him back, and that might even break line of sight on them. It does. So, now we can set up a little bit of a proper overwatch again just by breaking the line of sight. I'm going to kick these guys to a point where they do have some cover and they're facing the right way. Overwatch them. Now they should run right into that trap. Boom. Solid. Took down the leader. Now they're overwatching. And he just barely moved into range where we could hit him, but he can hit us. Dangerous. Took out a piece of the wall there. Anyone have grenades? No one's going to be able to break that overwatch, which is actually a bit of a problem. But, oh man, is it even going to tell me? Yeah, so anywhere we go, we're at risk here. That's okay. Froggy's got full cover. These guys are all... 65s is fine. Solid.
Not too shabby.
That's not good luck, that's not bad luck. For these guys, I'm anticipating he's going to move forward. We're just going to set up on him so everyone gets a good reload. And move your ass up. Solid. Wow, not only did we do it without any casualties, we did it without, well, casualties kind of is injuries. That's amazing. That was a pretty good run, honestly. Sometimes RNG just doesn't cooperate, but we played RNGesus on this channel, not real Jesus, random number Jesus. So let's get those bombs in there, and that's our first mission. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Hopefully the rest of our missions go quite that smooth. We're going to do some introductions of the base building mechanics, and then let that explosion song play out. When the next mission runs, I think that'll be the episode. A flawless first mission. I'm very happy with that. Took them all out. 16 turns is kind of a lot, but we played it safe, and there's a reason for that. And you know what? That's a pretty solid photo. The aliens will know fear. There's a photo booth. I feel like this photo booth, someone probably thought it was dumb, but it's not an afterthought. This thing is amazing. We're going to go a little bit more in depth someday when it doesn't set us up with a perfect shot just running in. That's Operation Gatecrasher. I am enthused about that. I did do a practice run of Legendary just to
peace and prosperity
play
will
around
not be
with it.
undone by the reckless actions of a few
Spokesman up here, the
misguided
speaker.
dissidents today. We stand with the elders.
What a
Trust
traitor.
in their wisdom, and we shall overcome this crisis.
I sincerely doubt that. So successful shot percentage, pretty good. Solid bonuses. Average cover bonus, pretty bad actually, but we made use of the cover we had. This little guy, the Sky Ranger, is a feet tall troop transport. I don't think it has any weapons. But that's our ride in and out, and the ship that it's just landing on is called the Avenger. This is our base, it's our ship. We've got ourselves a Nick Fury quadcopter here. Let's dive into some of the more interesting mechanics. I might change the soldiers around, redo some things about them, so if I do, that's gonna get cut out of the video. We got some loot. I think we actually, so the sectoid probably was carrying the loot on that mission. We blew it up, fine with that. For a flawless mission, I'm fine with that. Their corpses count as items recovered. If you control the battle space at the end of a mission, you get to collect all the corpses, and those are useful for building items, they're useful for research, so big boost to us there. Let's go over, we're actually going to read some more about these in a lore dump episode, which we'll probably do after this one. For now, let's go through all the different
Commander,
sections.
to the research labs.
Research labs first.
Impressive, isn't it? Capable of generating immense power, yet completely harmless to human life. If only the same could be said for the rest of the aliens' technology, Commander. Dr. Richard Tigan, Chief Science Officer. I am responsible for the entirety of our research here, as well as the procedure you so recently underwent. Welcome to my lab, such as it is. I'm not sure what Central may have told you, but we found something while removing you from the alien stasis suit. A device implanted directly in your occipital lobe. Had I access to the equipment available to me during my tenure at Advent, I would already know the precise nature of its function. However, given time and your approval, of course, Commander, I assure you, I will find out. Which brings to light an additional point. Though aspects of this facility are indeed impressive, I am but one man. Were you to direct additional support personnel and resources to me, I could substantially improve the speed of all our research. Farewell, Commander.
That's Tigan. He says some pretty sus shit throughout the game, so I've always had a suspicion that he's kind of secretly villainous. Now, we'll learn more about him in Lore Dump later, but this guy used to work for the enemy, who is called Advent. Some of the enemy is called Advent. Those are the soldiers and the troopers and kind of the mechs, as we'll see later, that make up the bulk of the military forces that are occupying Earth. View scientists, no scientists. Well, that's just rude. Dr. Tigan's right there. Let's get into the research. At the start, you have only a couple things. It never shows you kind of a complete tree, but you can find that online. We're going to kind of go towards the Psi research early on, but I think we're going to start with modular weapons. And one of the reasons is because as we get more trooper corpses, this research is going to go down in time. So 5 days, we don't have anything to actually attach, but we might as well do that.
Research to be among the more intriguing options available. We'll begin work immediately. I'll send word when a complete report is available.
Thank you, Dr. Tigan.
Engineering.
Oh, engineering. Let's go.
Okay, reworked your repulsors with some of the parts I salvaged from their old engine. Should fix that stabilization problem you had. Come on, Rover. It'll work. Commander! Getting our tech to talk to theirs is harder than you'd think. Lily Shen, Chief Engineer, at your service. You were probably expecting to see my father. In all that's happened, I'm guessing Central didn't tell you yet. He's gone. Dad gave everything he had to get us this far. This entire ship is his life's work. I know he would have loved to show you around the place himself. He used to talk about you a lot. You can be sure I'm ready to finish what he started. Might not look it, but from here, I can fabricate pretty much anything you come up with. And with a little more help, well, you'd be amazed with what I can do. It was an honor to finally meet you, Commander.
There you have Lily Shen. She's our chief engineer. I find her a little bit kitsch, I'll say, but you know, a little maybe animated with the gremlins and the eyes. And the gremlin is the name for this little drone that you'll see some of our soldiers using. But here's engineering. We can build items, facilities, view our inventory, and once again insult our chief officer here. Inventory, we're gonna get into some of these, but there's a couple weapons that we start with because we have the DLC enabled, and you've got a couple corpses listed here, so that's pretty cool. We're going to build items.
How big of a difference some of these things can make in combat, Commander. With a few supplies, I can manufacture anything we need in no time.
Now there's a lot of debate about what to start with. If you're playing on Beta Strike, I strongly encourage you to pick up some flashbangs and smoke grenade. Like, all of these just become so much more valuable. The flashbangs are still extremely valuable even in this mode, and I'm very tempted to pick one up right now. I'm going to think about it, but flashbangs disorient the enemies. It's got a really big radius. You can usually catch an entire pod in it. It drops their aim by a significant amount. I think it's like 20 or 40 even. And it prevents them from using any abilities besides just move and shoot, or might even prevent them from hunkering down. So there are a lot of tactical options this removes. It breaks psionic abilities like mind control. It prevents the stun lancers from using their lance. This is a huge defensive tool, and it's also a very good oh shit button. If you get yourself kind of backed into you're not in a great position, you flashbang the enemies, gives you basically a whole turn to reposition and get the angle on them. So super useful, but for now, let's actually jump over to the facilities.
Facilities on board the Avenger, Commander, but we'll need more engineers to clear out space for construction first.
So some parts of this are randomly generated, some parts of them aren't. You're always going to have 2 exposed power coils, which are rooms that, you know, you can put buildings here for no power cost, or if you put a power relay in there, it'll give it a bunch extra power, although that's not actually the optimal route, as we'll get into later. We got, I would call this, if it's not the worst possible RNG, it's the second worst. I don't know if both power coils can appear on the bottom. They can't appear above here, but we start not only as far as possible from them, but we have them on the 4th, which is kind of a bummer. We don't have any engineers yet for excavating, but we can build something. And since we do not have the integrated DLC enabled, we can't build the resistance ring yet. So the best and frankly only choice right now is the Guerrilla Tactics School. This is going to unlock a whole bunch of additional skills and abilities, but most importantly increasing the number of soldiers you can take. And even +1 soldier is more than even just a 20 or 25% increase in your firepower, because generally that'll put you over the edge for being able to take out. Can you take an enemy down, or does it get to shoot back? Getting those upgrades is huge early game priority. On Legendary, this shit takes forever, so we're gonna have basically a whole month before we can come back to that. But the game
to the armory
kind of speeds as we go. Now let's jump into the armory, and here's where I'm going to, I'll do it actually when the next mission procs, right before the mission actually starts. But I do want to play around with some of the soldiers because I want to be able to get some of our protagonists into the main roles. We have 1 genius, 2 geniuses. That's not terrible. So there's a fixed rate. Oh, what I'm looking at is, it's kind of difficult. I can't scroll from a character over to it. But if you look on the left, right above where it says not bonded, Froggy has standard. Sean has gifted. We actually got fairly lucky overall. There's, I think, 3. Fairly lucky, yeah. The number of geniuses, I think genius only has a 10% chance, and we have 3 of them, 2 of them. 2 of them. Genius I am not. Counting is not my strong suit. This genius has pretty bad will, which is a little, a little unfortunate, but we'll work with that. So I'm going to save the geniuses because when we send them through, when you promote these soldiers, it's going, and none of them are, yeah, that's fine. We're just going to give them their promotions. I want my geniuses to be folks who can utilize as many of the skills as possible, because what that combat intelligence does is it gives them more points as they level up, and that is kind of a big deal. So I might switch a couple folks around depending on what their promotions are, but let's go through and see what promotions we got.
Just like it sounds, our sharpshooters engage enemy targets with pinpoint accuracy from extreme range. They're also trained in pistol marksmanship for the occasional close encounter.
I have a tendency to run my sharpshooters the opposite way. I feel like the pistol abilities are really the stronger suit, both because of the Lost, which we'll get into very soon, and because of overkill. If you shoot someone for 6 damage and they only had 3 health left, you wasted a lot of it. The pistol lets you shoot multiple times at later levels. So fire pistol lets you attack or overwatch with your pistol. If you have both action points, you can do it with the sniper. And then the snipers also have squad sight, so they can shoot enemies beyond their own personal range by utilizing an ally's range. And I think that only applies to their... It doesn't say here, but I think it only applies to sniper shots on your turn. So that's Froggy. Let's go. Next up, we have Sean.
Serving as our demolitions experts, the Grenadiers provide heavy ordnance delivery whenever and wherever we need it.
These animations go a little long, but there we are. So our Grenadiers, you saw how useful grenades were in the last mission for clearing out some cover and doing some guaranteed damage. Grenadiers not only have a grenade launcher that makes the range and radius larger for all the grenades, but they get to carry a second grenade with them. So huge boost to our firepower. A little unfortunate that he's gifted, but that's fine, we'll run with that. Now I'm guessing this is going to be the specialist, and that bums me out.
The Ranger serves as our primary reconnaissance unit, capable of moving independently in concealment while engaging enemies at close range.
We do like that. Rangers are excellent. They can be scouts for you. They're amazing flankers. That shotgun absolutely crushes enemies. They have a sword, which wins the cool factor. Rangers are probably my favorite class, even though they're not necessarily what I think is the most effective class. But they are extremely effective. Maybe they are the most effective. It's really hard to say, frankly. So this slash you can do after dashing. You can dash to an enemy and slash them. And as they level up, it's a little bit interesting. None of the XCOM abilities, these first 2, but I'm optimistic for a Blade Storm later in the character. And last, but certainly not least, and gifted, not bad.
Operating some of our most advanced equipment, specialists deploy robotic drones on the battlefield that can be outfitted for combat or field medic duty.
This guy basically is our special troops battalion soldier. This dude's got some hacking ability, some medical ability. He can send his drone over to give people boosts to defense. Later he can give them even boosts to overwatching or all sorts of other things. I think people really underplay the effectiveness of a well-played specialist, and hopefully throughout this playthrough you're going to get an opportunity to see them really in action. And you definitely are going to get that opportunity because I have every intention, as soon as the Guerrilla Tactics School finishes, of sending our geniuses through as specialists. And the reason for that is that while all of the classes have some strong abilities on either side of their level up tree, someone's shooting fireworks off outside, so I'm sorry if that's bugging my audio. It's really the other classes have abilities that are strong on both sides, but the specialist really needs to have all of the abilities at their disposal. They're not necessarily going to want to use one or the other in any given circumstance. So having those options is going to be a huge, huge multiplier for us. Having done that,
for most
here's
of our
the
soldiers,
living quarters.
the living quarters on board the Avenger are a step up from the conditions they've had to live with on the ground.
This is a step up for a lot of our soldiers. Actually, this is, you know, I would say this is cozier than most barracks I've stayed at. I am prior service, by the way. I am a veteran. Don't hold it against me. I have nothing against other vets, but I regret my time in the military serving kind of a fascist system, and that's just the unfortunate reality of it. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments. I'm guessing there's not a lot of overlap between people who have no love for the military and people who have love for XCOM, but you know, there's always in any situation in life there's some good things and there's some bad things, and I think I'm allowed to remember fondly some of the more fun or interesting or educational aspects of my time in the service. Now I'm looking at these, like, are these screens or are these photos that they have up? That looks like a screen. It's funny. I guess, yeah, that's definitely, it's definitely a screen. You got to make it look like home somehow. And then, of course, this is where the commander lives. Love that we have room for bookshelves. You have the faceless soldiers on the wall here. A shotgun, just in case of emergency, of course. And here we can look at, you know, reports about the ship and reports about, wait, what did that say? Oh, interesting. The archives, which is where we're going to get into the lore dump, and our current objectives, which survive is our current objective. Having covered entirely too much, I think, for that beginning, let's... Oh, here we are. So you can see kind of the full scope of the ship. Now, if we had to leave in a hurry, we would be leaving a lot of shit behind. But you can see where we're living. We're out in the forest. Now, let's see if I can't guess where we are in the world based on this. I think we are in North America based on this background. I think we are on the east coast of North America. Let's find out. To the bridge.
Commander, good to see you on your feet again. Welcome to the bridge, the nerve center of our operation. The aliens have our entire world in their grip. Advent controls everything. Government, communications, industry, not to mention the military. And it's on us to take it all back. Resources and time are tight, Commander. It'll be up to you to decide how to best use both. The ship is yours.
I wonder if it was difficult for him. Oh, we were in Asia. That was my second guess. I wonder if it... normally there's a pop-up that something happens. Asia's kind of bad RNG too. So the strategic level, we're getting kind of bad luck, but the tactical is going well so far. Normally there's something to scan. Something kind of bugging out here. Oh yeah, we also have a bar / memorial, and you can see in the background some of the photos we take on missions.
We're attempting contact with a local resistance faction known as the Reapers. These people like to keep a very low profile, so it may take some time before we hear back. While we're waiting, it might be worthwhile to scan the area for additional supplies and resources. You never know what we may find out there. We've done what we can to honor our fallen soldiers, Commander. It's not much, but it gives our people a chance to pay their respects.
It does.
Commander, one of our resistance contacts just tipped us off to a site that may be worth investigating.
So we're going all the way up to frickin' Siberia to pick up some supplies.
The Avengers' remote scanning capabilities will help us search the area for clues or other resources. It's going to take some time, though. We've got a lot of ground to cover.
One of the reasons Asia is such a bad
These
start
findings will likely prove crucial to our ongoing efforts, Commander.
is because of how spread out it is, and you can't get the continent bonus until you've taken more ground. I don't know if there's a chance for it to spawn rarer or stronger continent bonuses, but that, as we transition into the mid-game, that is going to slow us slightly. Hopefully we find some other mitigating factors. So we've finished the modular weapons, codenamed Tinker. As long as our soldiers are digging through scrap piles, we'll be able to now salvage weapons from the enemy, or not weapons, but attachments, and we should be able to modify what we find and be able to put it on our weapons. So as we get those, we'll cover that when we get it. Now it will let us, technically, that upgrades to the magnetic weapons, but 63 days is entirely too long. And it wouldn't even be meaningful to start that right now. So I'm going to go
I will begin our research immediately.
Let's go back.
Strategic resource located.
Ah, that's pretty cool, actually. I'm thinking some old... That's definitely not what Siberia looks like in March, but... Bombed out service depot for aircraft. Got some materials. 49 supplies. Not bad. Rookies! That sucks. Fine. That's all we have, but I doubt if we're... you know what? It's not the worst. We're gonna get interrupted before we finish picking the rookies up, so...
Commander, as the resistance continues to grow, we'll have a better chance of finding openings to strike back at Advent. As it is, we've already identified a potential target to disrupt the aliens' operations in this region.
Here we are, our first guerrilla op.
Is limited,
we're
to
going to review the targets. We only have one, and that is extraordinarily bad luck. Neutralized Field Commander might be one of the most difficult, and that's because they have a shit ton of bonus health. This says difficulty easy. That's kind of more to do with the number of enemies you're going to run into, but this is not going to be a good mission, and I think unfortunately we might have to run our A-team for this in order to really guarantee it, which means we won't have them for the following mission, and that's a bit of a problem. So we're going to do the setup and everything in the next video. We're going to be running in to neutralize the field commander in Operation Godwalker, get ourselves an engineer, and hopefully get ourselves a couple promoted rookies. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.